Hello and welcome to the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg, and today I'm going to be talking about the thing that everybody's probably talking about a little bit, that DeSantis has finally entered the presidential race, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, that is. Also, something that's sort of a local story, but also sort of an important story, is I'm going to talk about this Louisiana state lawmaker, a Republican, who voted against a common sense measure that would stipulate basically a prohibition against, transgender transition surgeries and hormones and stuff for minors. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about Elon Musk's Neuralink company, and then I'm going to close out with some information about a 101-year-old World War II veteran. Both because it was the last thing I wrote about yesterday, and I think it'd be good to honor this man, and also it's Memorial Day, so thank you for joining me for this episode. I've been doing live episodes of the Alex Nitzberg Show every Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time. So if you've been enjoying them, I'll be doing another one next week, and you can join me then as well. And please don't forget, if you're enjoying these, to give them a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel here. Also, I'm on Rumble. Also, please follow me on Twitter if you're on there. All right, so thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. There's your reminder to give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying these videos. All right, so to start out with here, Ron DeSantis, finally, I've been talking about this for a long time. Everybody's been expecting him to get into the race, and he has finally done so. He finally announced this week that he's running. Now, he released this video right before he was scheduled to do a Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk, bought Twitter last year. Twitter Spaces is basically just an audio chat. It's kind of like you're talking to someone on the phone, but everybody else can listen to it. So if I've never participated in one, but I've listened in, and basically, yeah, it can be two people, it can be a whole bunch of people, and they're just having a big phone conversation where you can listen in. Basically, there's no video. So yeah, he put out this video. He was supposed to do a Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk, but what ended up happening was there was quite a delay because they were having technical difficulties. And I believe the technical difficulties were probably just due to the fact that there was like so many people trying to get on or whatever, but they had trouble. So they ended up getting it to work eventually, but there was a big delay, getting it running because they were coming on and then they were like cutting out and they were having issues. So Trump has been making fun of that. He's put out some stuff like this. This is kind of funny. That's pretty funny. I think that's probably a SpaceX rocket, so Elon Musk. Let me pause that. All right, and then also, he's been truthing, not tweeting, but truthing, putting stuff out on Truth Social. He said, "I know Ron. The way he handled his announcement, he will handle the country." And he's got, "Wow, the DeSantis Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch." And then this is another little funny thing they put out, making fun of it. That I'm proud to be an American, and I won't forget the men who died.
We are kind of melting the servers.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Commitment to freedom, and is willing to put his money where his mouth is. Upset the narrative control imposed on us by our government.
Who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up.
Have Governor DeSantis make this.
We're just trying to get it going.
So, yeah, and then here's another one. I'm not going to actually play this one, but basically, you can see here on Twitter Spaces, it'll tell you who's on the space, who's talking, and that kind of stuff. And there's this thing making fun of it where like Elon Musk and DeSantis are on with George Soros and Klaus Schwab and Adolf Hitler and the devil and all this stuff. So they're making fun of it still. And then this is pretty funny. Don Jr. on Twitter shared this. It's from someone else, But anyway, here, this is funny.
Have the courage. Is it worth the sacrifice? Have the courage.
Yeah, so they got Trump tackling DeSantis there. So I don't actually think that the Twitter Spaces debacle is really going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but there's some funny stuff going around of just making fun of it. So that happened. But basically the point is DeSantis has finally gotten in. He seems to be the only candidate who has any sort of chance of challenging Trump during the primary. He's been polling in second place. It's a distant second place, but it's still, when you look at the other candidates, like, I'm probably don't have exact numbers, but basically, if Trump's like 50 or 55 or whatever, DeSantis is like 20 something, and everybody else is like 5% or less. So he's not close to Trump, but he's so much higher than everybody else. And so anyway, he seems to be the only person who could really mount a serious challenge right now. So, all right, but here's the other thing I was talking about at the intro. This Louisiana Republican, sort of, I'll give you an asterisk because I'm going to explain to you that he's a Republican, sort of. He used to be a Democrat, but this Republican state senator in Louisiana joined with Democrats on this Senate committee in the state to basically kill a measure that would have prohibited gender transitions on minors. So here's the measure, and I'm not 100% sure this is like the last version of it or whatever, but I think it probably is. So, but anyway, if you look at it, it basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but basically, like, a healthcare professional shall not knowingly engage in any of the following acts that attempt to alter a minor's appearance in an attempt to validate a minor's perception of his sex if the minor's perception is inconsistent with his sex. And they list all these things, basically, puberty blockers and, testosterone, estrogens, and greater that would normally be produced in a healthy individual. And so they're trying to prevent, and they talk about surgeries. So basically it's saying no gender transitions, on minors. And so, let me see here. Yeah, so, okay, so anyway, so that is a common sense measure. If you're Republican, if you're conservative, which those two things are not synonymous, but that's an obvious thing. You should be supporting that. But this guy, a state senator, Fred Mills, who is a Republican now, didn't used to be apparently, did not vote for this. And so this wasn't actually up for like a regular vote. It was like some kind of committee, and I believe the vote was like 5-4. Does it say that in here? I think I had that in my story. Yeah, it was 5-4 in this committee. So basically he joined with all the Democrats and killed the bill. Okay, so here's some of what he had to say about that.
The standards of care of a physician in Louisiana prohibit those type of surgeries. If those surgeries are taking place, then a doctor is committing malpractice. So the law right now protects these children.
The main issue Senator Fred Mills says he had was the bill would ban physicians from prescribing certain drugs to transgender children for hormonal replacement or hormonal blocking.
And in certain pediatric situations, these drugs are very necessary for a very, very small select group of children. And I always have felt, and I always will feel, that a physician should make the decision of what's best for their patient and not a politician.
Senator Mills says if this bill passed, any transgender child on any type of hormone replacement or hormone blocker would have to be weaned off of it by a doctor. He says that could be very problematic for a child already stabilized on these treatments. In addition, he says there's only a very small population of children on these medicines.
Oh, it got stuck. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get that going again.
Blocked it.
Very, very, very last effort. Very, very
Population of children on these medicines.
There we go.
And as far as hormonal treatment, that is a very, very, very last effort. And if needed, I just want the opportunity for a physician to be able to utilize that in the treatment of care.
The senator also says after 2 hours of testimony from physicians, he also learned there have been 0 gender-altering surgeries done to children in Louisiana.
No child in Louisiana has ever had, or should they have, surgery to remove any of their body parts as far as that's concerned. And that doesn't happen, and it's not legally allowable according to the standards of care of physicians. And I really believe that to restrict a physician to be able to prescribe medication is not sound policy.
While Senator...
All right, so I'm going to stop that there. Now, the thing is, he's claiming that, the gender transition surgeries on minors would already not be allowed. But then seems like he's arguing that you shouldn't block the hormones and the puberty blockers and stuff, which obviously, yes, you should. I mean, ideally, the parent and the physician, should be able to make the decision. But if you've got a psycho physician who's trying to give a child puberty blockers and hormone therapy because they're trying to promote this radical leftist gender ideology, then yeah, they need to legally be stopped from doing that. And obviously, if you have a parent for whatever reason who's been deceived into believing the lies that the radical leftist gender ideology pushes, and they're trying to do this to their child or have this done to their child, they need to be stopped from doing that as well. So he should have voted for this. And also, here's what I've been talking about. This is an you can see from 2010, back when he was, I guess, a state representative instead of a senator. But it said he switched. So I think he used to be a Democrat. Now he's a Republican. So yeah, all the headlines and everything are like Republican, but apparently, it's funny. People talk about rhino, Republican in name only. This guy seems to literally be a rhino. Used to be a Democrat, now he's a Republican. The whole expression rhino, actually, people use it to say you're not really conservative, but the thing is, there's a lot of like Republicans that aren't really conservative. So maybe it should be like CI, like a conservative in name only, because you can be a Republican and not be conservative, but if you say you're conservative, I don't know if this guy uses that word to describe himself, but there's people that are, for being Republican doesn't make you conservative automatically. And then this I also thought I would mention, he actually owns a pharmacy, apparently. And then I also just wanted to say here, where he said, this is him being quoted saying, why would I want to handcuff a doctor and his or her decision? I think they know more about this than politicians. Well, I would say, like I just said, if a doctor is trying to give a child puberty blockers and hormones or surgery or anything like that, then yeah, you the politician, you as a Republican or Democrat or whatever, he's currently Republican, but as a politician, you should be blocking that. I actually think, and you can let me know in the comments what you think, there's an argument that could be made that it should be blocked for adults as well. If you're a libertarian, if you're more like a libertarian, you'll probably say no, adults should be able to do whatever they want. But part of me would say also, well, a doctor shouldn't be allowed to butcher somebody, even if they consent to it. So I think there would be a good argument or a good case that could be made that this should be legally blocked for even adults to get this kind of surgery and hormones and all that stuff done. But, that could be a debate. Right now people are focused on children because that's an obvious no, that should not be happening to children. So, all right, so next topic, Neuralink, another, one of Elon Musk's companies. Elon Musk is a billionaire business tycoon. He has a lot of stuff going on. He has SpaceX, the rocket company that launches satellites and all that kind of stuff. He has Tesla, the electric car company, which makes some cool electric cars that also have some really neat autonomous driving features. He's got the Boring Company, which is involved in like basically digging tunnels, I think so that they can eventually maybe get some cars to drive around the tunnels and stuff. I think somewhere like maybe Las Vegas, I think they might actually have a sort of a tunnel like that with Teslas driving through it now. But anyway, so he's got a lot of stuff going on, and he also has this company Neuralink, which is basically what they're working on is a brain chip implant. So they want to be able to implant this chip in people's brains, and it will enable people to, for instance, the idea is to enable people who are quadriplegics to control computer systems, like their mobile phone with their mind, basically. So they put out this tweet this week that said, "We're excited to share that we have received the FDA's approval to launch our first in-human clinical study." And Elon Musk, said, "Congratulations, Neuralink team." When you get on their website, it says their mission is to create a generalized brain interface to restore autonomy to those with unmet medical needs today and unlock human potential tomorrow. See, that's sort of the interesting / perhaps ominous sort of long-term, like their short-term plans sound pretty good, helping disabled people. Beyond just the thing with allowing people to control their computer with their mind, which, by the way, let me show you. They have like a demonstration, and it says, imagine moving your hand up. So it's basically telling people to use their mind to move this cursor and to imagine clicking on the target. And I'm assuming that this is like how you would be calibrating it maybe once you had it in your brain or whatever. But anyway, so basically at the beginning, that's what they want to do. And then I think it talks about they want to be able to help people who lost limbs maybe and that kind of thing. Like here, it says brain-computer interfaces have the potential to change lives for the better. We want to bring this technology from the lab into people's homes. And this part here says, we are currently focused on giving people with quadriplegia the ability to control computers and mobile devices with their thoughts. And you can see here, there's a man sitting here and he's moving this thing around. So that's cool. And over here it says, let me see here. In the future, we hope to restore capabilities such as vision, motor function, and speech, and eventually expand how we experience the world. See, that sounds good until they expand how we experience the world. It's like, what are the long-term goals here? Like, helping disabled people, that sounds like a good goal. And that sounds like it could be really neat technology. But if they ever start getting into sort of weird recreational stuff or anything, that could be weird. But we'll see what ends up happening. Also interesting, once you get the chip implanted, apparently it can be recharged wirelessly. So anyway, it's just something to keep an eye on. They got that FDA approval, so apparently at some point they will be implanting this into someone's human brain, into a human brain. I read, I think it was a Wall Street Journal piece, but it was a piece, and I think they were saying they've been testing it on chimpanzees. So anyway, some crazy technology nowadays. All right, and now I'm going to finish up with this admirable World War II veteran. I think you call him a hero. He's 101 years old. He's the last survivor from the USS Arizona, attack during Pearl Harbor in 1941. Apparently, there was another man who was 102 years old. He died last month in April. And so now this man, Lou Conter, who was only 20 years old at the time of the Pearl Harbor attack, is the last survivor from the last known survivor from the USS Arizona. And I mean, look at this quote from him. He said, "I consider the heroes the ones that gave their lives, that never came home to their families. They're the real heroes." So, I mean, he's humble. But when you look at his life here, if you go down the story, there's this quote where it says, it mentions that he was helping people get off the burning ship. And there's this quote that says it's from his book. It says, "As we guided these men to safety, more often than not, their burned skin would come off on our hands." So he was helping these, get people off. That sounds horrific. But he went on after the attack to become a pilot, and it says that he was shot down twice. So he survived being shot down twice. And he when he went back to California, he joined the reserves, and he eventually served in the Korean War. And so, I mean, that's an impressive life there. Where is the? Let me see here. Here we go. It says he got his pilot wings in November 1942. He was part of a team that flew Black Cat aircraft overnight doing bomb runs in the South Pacific. He said he was shot down twice, once in September 1943 and a second time 3 months later. Both times he used a lifeboat to get to shore. After World War II ended, he said he returned to California, signed up for the reserves, and in early 1950s he served again in the Korean War. Conter retired from the Navy in 1967 as a lieutenant commander. He became a real estate developer in California, where he still lives. And check this out. He actually wants to return one more time to Pearl Harbor. Apparently his doctor had forbidden him from taking that long flight to Hawaii. And so he hasn't been to the annual remembrance, it says, in around 4 years. But he said, "I'd like to go once more." So that's a positive note to end the show on. Mr. Conter, 101 years old, and an American hero. And I know Memorial Day, I believe, is actually to celebrate people who have passed away. But I just wrote about this yesterday, and I liked his story, and I thought I would share that with you guys. It's a good sort of American story to share. And also, he was honoring the people that died in his thing. He was saying that they're the real heroes. So thank you all for watching this episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. If you haven't already and you're on Twitter, please follow me over there. And if you also haven't already, please subscribe to my channel here. And you can join me on Rumble as well if you want. But thank you for watching this episode. I will be back next week with another episode at 3:30 on Saturday. Every Saturday at 3:30. Also, I do videos sometimes in the middle of the week as well. So if you look over here, I did a video this week about DeSantis launching his presidential bid, and another video before that about how he was going to be on with Twitter Spaces and stuff. So you can check those out during the week as well. But thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Have a good Memorial Day. And thank you, Perseverance777. I saw that you just left that comment. God bless you. So whether that's for me or whether that's for Mr. Conter, thank you. And have a happy or good Memorial Day holiday. And I'll see you guys next week. Or before if I make another video. Bye-bye.